I'm Jacki Lyden. I'm a writer, a long time NPR journalist, and Davar was one of my most amazing collaborators there as a senior producer, and we did a series together called Iran at the Crossroads way back in 1995. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Testing. I remember thinking as I took out my microphone back in 1995 that no one would talk to me on tape, that no one would be brave enough to question the revolution of 1979, which so many women and Iranian students had helped bring about. We were hiking just past the country's infamous political prison, Evin, which is incongruously set in a beautiful valley.
Culturally, I feel sort of alienated from these people. Maybe it's because I've been outside the country for too long. I think a lot of people feel like I do because of what's happening.
Is it especially hard for women?
Especially harder for women, yes. Because the way we are treated, the way they behave towards us, it's aggravating. And I'm not a professional person. Just think if I were a professional and working with men and the way they would behave towards you. And they don't look at you at all.
I just again want to reiterate, thank you so much for coming. We want to support not just the women in the streets today, but the generations upon whom they stand. Because one of the things you will learn, if you don't know, is that Iran does have an absolutely incredible history of female writers and poets, thinkers, many of whom worked in obscurity. We all know Anonymous was a woman. That's true in Iran, too.
It wasn't just secular intellectuals who were participating in politics. I met Azam Talagani in 1997. She was the daughter of a prominent Ayatollah, and she wanted to run for president. She was 58 and ran a settlement house for poor women. She said she knew that the ruling of the Council of Guardians would never choose her, a woman, but she decided she wanted to run anyway. She speaks here through an interpreter.
Let them be silent. I won't be silent. And even if I remain silent, the women won't be silent. I can't tell you how many phone calls I've received in the past few days of people thanking me for speaking out and demanding that women be considered as presidential candidates. And I tell them that our government officials have been put on notice and our movement will continue.
My
name is Simin Behbahani, and I am one of Iran's poets, and I have always been in touch with the people of Iran through my poetry. I have recited a brief poem for Neda Agha Sultan, and I would like to say that here. You are neither dead nor will you die. You will always remain alive. You have an eternal existence.
You are voice of the people of Iran.
You are the voice of the people of Iran.
In trying to recognize how much women were risking to create a civil space for themselves in a theocracy, no lawyer attracted as much attention as Shireen Ebadi.
I call upon the Nobel Peace Prize laureate for 2003, Shireen Ebadi, to come forward to receive the gold medal and the diploma.
Shireen Ebadi, a human rights lawyer, was given the Nobel Peace Prize in 2003. I'd met her, too, on that first trip. In Oslo, she talked not just about women's rights, but Iran's ancient tradition of human rights.
I am an Iranian, a descendant of Cyrus the Great, the very emperor who proclaimed at the pinnacle of power 2,500 years ago that he would not reign over the people if he did not wish it, and promised not to force any person to change his religion or faith, and guaranteed freedom for all.
It was a big psychological win for the women of Iran. So there's no shame, really, about being completely hypocritical.
There's no shame. I mean, my 11-year-old daughter already knows that there are certain things that she talks about in school and certain things that she talks about at home, you know. And this is what is so frightening, you know, because how can you have a self? How can you create? How can you imagine? How can you have an active culture if you're constantly hiding what you are? You lose yourself.